Students, today our topic is tourism related to the chapter number 7, tertiary activities. We already discussed the trade and commerce, transport and communication. The next tertiary activity is tourism, right? So that is also related to the transport system, right? So tourism. First is, do you mean by tourism? Any journey undertaken for recreation, right? It means the journey for recreation, recreation that is known as tourism. Now, what do you mean by recreation? In this world, in this age, we are going very faster. There is no time to stay, there is no time to relieve ourselves, but at the same time we have leisure time due to the expansion of holidays, and due to the tiredness of daily life, we want to recreate our body, to recreate ourselves, right? So for the recreation, for relaxing ourselves, we took some journeys. We go outside to other places. That is called tourism. Great. So recreation means to relax ourselves. So it has become the world's largest tertiary activity now these days. First of all, the registered jobs in this activity is now 250 millions, and it contributes 40% to the total GDP. Now, by this data, you can understand the importance of tourism now these days, because they provide a lot of employment, and secondly, they also enhance the economy of the country, right? So it can be asked in 3 marks question: what is tourism and what are the advantages of tourism? First is, it is employing, it can generate the employment within the country. Second, it enhance the economy of the country. Now these days, tourism is advancing more and more. Why it is so? This is just because of the expansion of transportation system, better standard of life, leisure time with the people, and they want to spend their holidays to another places. More accommodation facilities are there. So these are the basic causes which promote the tourism. First is transportation, second is better living lifestyle, third, we are growing economically also. If we are going outside to any other state, any other city, any other country, we need money. So now these days we are growing fastly economically, so we have the money and we want to recreate ourselves, and that's why we go for tourism. Secondly, it employed a number of people, because when the tourism took place, there is a demand for accommodation, meals, transport, entertainment, and shops which provide their services to the tourists. So for all these purposes, they required a huge number of people. That's why now these days, tourism registered 250 million jobs, right? So second, tourism also influence the growth of infrastructural industries, retail trading, retail trading, craft industries. All these are also expanding due to the expansion of tourism, because they sell their product to the tourist places, right? So in some regions we can see the tourism is seasonal, while in some places it is not related to the any season. Like in the hilly areas, we go in the summers, right? So in the hilly areas, the tourism is mainly seasonal, while the historical place, there is no foundation of any season. correct? So tourism can be seasonal or it can be free from the seasons. Now, what are the major tourist region in the world? The Mediterranean Sea between the Europe and Africa. Here is Europe, there is Africa continent, and this portion is known as Mediterranean region. Mediterranean region, that coast, because the rest of the Europe lies in the higher latitudes. Higher latitudes, due to the higher latitudes, there is a very cold climate, and the people move to the Mediterranean coast due to the hot climate there. Right? So Mediterranean region is the most popular tourist region among the European countries. Second, in India, if we are talking about India, the western coast of India, here is the western coast, this part. The western coast of India attract more and more people from the world, because here is a Bombay, Goa, all these beaches are there, and people from the world came to these region for the recreation. So these are considered most important tourist region. Along with this, some mountainous areas like Switzerland, if we talk about the world, the Switzerland in India, Kashmir, Srinagar, Ladakh, these are the mountainous region which are more popular for their tourist attraction. Some scenic landscapes and national parks also provide the facility of tourism. Some towns are very popular for the tourism due to their historic importance. Right? First of all, we are discussing about the factor affecting tourism. No doubt, first is demand, because the holidays demands are increasing rapidly. That's why our and our earning is also increasing. So that led to the improvement in standard of living. When the standard of living is increasing, the the leisure time is increasing, means holidays are increasing, the demand for tourism is also increasing. Because now these days, as I told you, every person is tired with their daily routine, so they want to spend their leisure time for their recreation. Right? So holidays and the leisure time had increased the demand of tourism. Second, transport. Tourism cannot be possible without the efficient mean of transport. Before these days, in this age, we can go anywhere, any top of the hill, even the Ladakh, Leh Ladakh, which are very far and very mountainous area, very rugged area. But now the roads are there, we can go there with by car or by bus. Right? So the tourism in Leh and Ladakh is due to the development of transportation system. Right? So in some of the hilly areas, there is a railway track also, so it is increasing the tourism. Right? So if there is an efficient mean of transport, no doubt there is an increase in the tourism. And now these days, because of the modern means of transport like air transport, we go far from the country, out of the country for the tourism. Right? So within few hours, we can go to the another country. Most of the people went to Bangkok, Singapore now these days in the summer vacation, because they took only 3 to 4 days there. One day, in 4 to 3 hours, they can reach to their destination. That's why in the 3 or 4 days they can plan their holidays. Right? So moreover, the packages system, because of the package system, there is a reduction in the cost of tourism also. Right? Now, what are the areas, which are the areas who attracts the tourist? First is climate. Due to the climatic region, people tends to uh, attract towards that region. As I told you, the Mediterranean land lies in the southern Europe. Suppose this is Europe. These are the high latitude area and with cold climate, right? And this is the Mediterranean portion which have the lower latitude than the upper and have hot climate. So the European people tends to move to the southern part for their hot climate, right? So Europe, in the other parts of Europe, long hours of sunshine and low rainfall throughout the peak holiday season, right? Similarly, in the summers we went to the hilly region due to the cold climate there, right? In the northern India, in the summer there is very hot climate, and we plan our holidays to the some mountainous area, right? Shimla, Manali, all that, Srinagar, because the climate on of those region is quietly pleasant than the northern plain area. Second is landscape. Many people like to spend their holidays where the mountains, lakes, and sea coast and different landscapes are there, because they are very fond of these places, natural places, and they want to see them. Third is historic and art. As I told you, many of the places are popular for their historic region, like Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, Delhi. These are popular due to their historical region, right? So the people went to there for the who have keen interest in history and art. The next is culture and economy. These attract tourists with a penchant for experiencing ethnic and local custom. Ethnic, the people who are fond of knowing about the different culture of any city, any country they came. Like foreigners came to India, and they travel throughout the India, and they try to found the culture of each and every region of India. Also, the some people of India went to Assam for their cultural heritage, correct? Some tourist places are attractive due to their cheap cost. So some profitable business, homestay, like homestay, which is a profitable business for the for such areas. Now the next term is associated with the tourism is medical services, right? So it is medical services or overseas patients in India. Medical services now these days, what is trend is going on in the developing countries. Medical services are cheaper than the developed countries. So the people from the developed countries came to developing countries for their medical treatments, right? So this is known as medical services for overseas patients. About, if we go to study the trend of medical services, we can see that 55,000 patients from USA, they visited to India in 2005 for treatment, right? This is still a small number compared with the million of surgeries performed each year in the US healthcare system of India. Why they came to India, whether they belong to a developed countries, but for the medical treatment they are coming to India. Why? Because the developing countries have improved medical facilities, all the medical facilities, all the medical tests, all these can be provided in the developing countries, but the cost of these tests, these treatment is much lower than the developed countries. So they think it will be economically convenient for the people of developed countries to treat themselves in developing countries, right? So hospital located in metropolitan cities cater to hospital patients all over the world, right? So in this medical tourism, it is also called medical tourism because the people came there or any other country for medical treatment. So it is also known as medical treatment. So this medical tourism benefited the developing countries like India, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, and beyond. Medical tourism is the trend of outsourcing of medical tests and data interpretation. Right now, these developing countries provide different medical services like reading radiology images, MRIs, ultrasound tests, and many more. And these facilities are cheaper than the developed countries. So, what is medical tourism? When medical treatment is combined with international tourism activity, it lends itself to what is commonly known as medical tourism. Right? So, in other words, medical tourism is combining tourism activity with medical treatment. The simple definition I am repeating: medical tourism is combining tourism activity with medical treatment. That is called medical tourism. Right? Now come to the last two activities: quaternary activities and quinary activities. Quaternary activities, as we discussed, that these are based upon knowledge and information, right? So these are mainly concerned with the knowledge such as education, information, research, and development. So the term quaternary basically refer to the more intellectual in occupation, where the intelligence, where their intelligence in, where their education is major impact on the services, that is called quaternary activities. Right, their task is to think, research, and develop ideas. In most of the advanced country, the quaternary activities engage a small but growing proportion of population. Now these days, these activities are growing because more and more people are engaging in quaternary activities, as the education is promoting. The people have knowledge, more and more knowledge, and this sector is developing. But in the developed country, in more people, most of the people are engaged in quaternary activities rather than primary, secondary, and tertiary activities. Right? So these services involving specialized knowledge and technical skills. Correct? So more and more people are engaging in this activity because these are based upon their mental knowledge, and that's why they have the highest income. So the high degree of mobility in the process of career advancement, due to this region, the people are engaging in quaternary activities. Personal working in office, building, elementary schools, university classrooms, hospitals, and doctor offices, theater, accounting, brokerage firms are belong to the category of these services. Right? So now these days, quaternary activities can also be outsourced. Now, what do you mean by outsourced? First of all, you must know, what do you mean by outsourced? When we are hiring the people not within our country, from another country, but they are not going to the country, they remain there in their country, but they find the work from another country, that is called outsourcing. Now outsourcing, before considering the outsourcing, we will focus on the quinary activities because all these are depend upon the outsourcing now these days. So the highest level of decision makers or policy makers perform quinary activities. They are also known as gold collar workers because they are involved in policy making and decision making. They are quietly different from knowledge based industry than the quinary sector in general deals with. Quinary activities are services that focus on the creation that focus on the creation, rearrangement, interpretation of the new and existing ideas, data interpretation, use and evaluation of the new technologies. All these are done by the people in the quinary of the quinary activities. So because they are performing the more and more in decision making processes, they are called gold collar professionals, right? So they are highly paid skills. So that's why they are less in numbers and in great demand in each and every developing countries as well as the developed countries. Next is outsourcing. What do you mean by outsourcing? Outsourcing has resulted in the opening of a large number of call centers in India. Here you can see some of the foreign companies, they open their call centers in India because here the more intellectual persons are there, more knowledgeable persons are there in India, and they agreed to provide their services on the low cost. So it is beneficial for the developed countries to outsource the persons, because if they employed the person of their country, they have to pay them more as compared in the developing countries. They find the more intellectual people on low wages. That's why outsourcing is increasing day by day. So the most of the developed countries, they outsource the people from India, China, Eastern Europe, Israel, Philippines. All these countries provide the outsourcing, right? So outsourced countries, what are the benefits of these outsourcing? Because the people move from one country to another country in search of job opportunities, right? For example, India, from the people from the India, the people move to the developed countries like USA, Canada and Australia because they want uh, saw that there is better a job opportunity for them. But by the outsourcing, now they can get the job opportunities within their country, right? So there is no need of migration, so there is a less migration. That is the first benefit. Second, outsourcing countries are facing resistance from job seeking youths in their respective countries. So the comparative advantage is the main reason for continuing outsourcing. New trends in culinary services include, there is two terms, KPO and BPO. KPO means knowledge processing outsourcing, which is based upon knowledge and skill, right? So this includes the activities like research and development, e-learning, business research, intellectual property research, legal profession and the banking sector. They have more demand in the Western countries or the developed countries. The second is BPO. BPO means business processing outsourcing. When the people outsource for the business purposes, but KPO has a more demand than the BPOs. The next last is the digital divide. what do you mean by digital divide? No doubt, this is a digital world. Everything, everywhere, in every country, the things are becoming digital. No doubt, there is a some countries which are lagging behind, and some advanced countries are efficient in digital area, right? So opportunities emerging from the information and communication technology based on development is unevenly distributed across the globe. As I told you that there are some countries which are very good in IT department, in digital world, right? So these countries are higher than the developing countries. So there is a gap between the developing and developed countries, that is known as digital divide, right? Like in a large country like India and Russia, it is inevitable that certain areas like metropolitan cities possesses better connectivity and access to the digital world. Yes, we, whereas in the rural areas they are lacking behind. So there is a gap between the rural areas as well as in the metropolitan city regarding this sector, regarding this digital sector. So that is called digital divide. When there is a gap related to ITC between developing countries and developed countries, that is called digital divide. So here we have completed our chapter. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Regarding this chapter, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Outsourcing, digital divide, all these two are, and tourist, what is tourism and the factors affecting tourism, what are the main region of tourism, all these three questions are very important. Now if you want to ask anything, you can ask.